Hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome back to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Tom and I'm joined by Josh as we react to FPL launch 25-26. We haven't really looked at the team, we came straight on here. I've got the screen share up, so we'll go through it, build some teams and give our immediate reactions. Let us know in the chat if the audio is good and we'll get into it. Josh, excited?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing, man. I feel like everyone's been waiting so long now, so it's good for it to be finally live, and we can obviously get into some exciting prices. I feel like this year there's not been as many price reveals as what we've seen in sort of previous years. They usually long it out.
Yeah. Yeah, well there was two today. We got Haaland at 14 and Salah at 14 and a half. What were your thoughts on those?
Yeah, I think fair prices for both. I've seen a lot of people complaining about Haaland maybe being a bit too expensive, just because obviously Salah outperformed him by a massive amount last year. But I think City in general will be a lot stronger this year. So yeah, it's worth him being still at a premium price and sort of Salah to match that. It'd be interesting to see if there'll be as many Haaland and Salah drafts this year as there was last year. Because yeah, you're taking up over a quarter of your budget just on those two alone.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go through it. Let's look at the goalkeepers first. We'll have a look at the prices, react, try and build a team. Immediate thoughts is who's 4.5. I'm just looking. Brighton goalkeepers 4.5. West Ham, Brentford. Not a lot else. Promoted keepers.
It's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, so there's not many 4.5 goalkeepers. Surely Petrovic is 4.5 as well. Yeah. So yeah, the Pickford 5.5 as well, and then there's loads of goalkeepers at 5. Sells, Henderson, Sanchez, Onana, Leno, Martinez, Pope, Vicario.
Yeah. There's no goalkeepers at 6. All of them are topped at 5.5, which is interesting. Even Allison and Edison.
Yeah, I think that does make sense. I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think of the new interface, by the way?
Yeah, I was saying to you before we came live, it's taken me a second to get used to, but it's a lot easier to navigate, especially when we're looking through like the lists and stuff like that. Yeah, I way prefer it. So it's nice to see it being updated because it felt a little bit old in scenes gone by. But yeah, I think it's good. I think I've seen sales at 5 when Milenkovic and Murillo are at 5.5. So it already shows how they're adjusting the pricing with defensive contributions in mind as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. So I'm just going to get it up. So the Forest defenders are more expensive than the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Murillo and Milenkovic for sure.
Yeah, 5.5. Interesting. Let's see what we can afford. Let's put in 5 million keeper for the sake of it. I'll put Sanchez in. Just
no bias.
Yeah, no bias there. And then I'll chuck a 4.5 keeper in there as well. Brighton goalkeeper. For Bruggen. Going into defenders, let's have a look at what there is. Gvardiol 6, Milenkovic 5.5, Van Dijk 6. So there's nobody more than 6.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
interesting.
I think that's fairly reasonable though, because a lot of players like they could have a higher ceiling, like Frimpong, for example, but we haven't seen it just yet. So I feel like 6 is a good sort of baseline for all of them.
Yeah. Wan-Bissaka's 4.5. I think I'll pop him in straight away. That Sunderland fixture. Munoz 5.5. Could be cheap. Don't mind that.
Yeah, I think that's decent. He's at Cucurella as well. He's at 6. Do you think that's a fair price?
Yeah, I mean, it depends the system he plays, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some games he's in the box, other games he doesn't go beyond the halfway line. But it's probably a fair price with him scoring the most goals last year among defenders. What defenders have we got at 4.5?
Good question.
Gay's 4.5. Concert.
Yeah, it could be good for the. It's interesting that Concert's so cheap. He must be a little bit lower on the sort of defensive contributions, I guess.
Yeah. Dallo, bit of Man United there. Van Hecke is
Stay clear of
4.5.
that.
Yeah. Van Hecke 4.5.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's interesting. Obviously, Brighton were quite poor defensively last year. Like they kept conceding the odd goal here and there. So they could be, I think, decent budget options going into next year if they can improve slightly. Um, I think there's quite a few like if ifs and buts around the 4.5. So you got like West Ham, a lot of West Ham defenders, some of the Villa defenders as well, who historically always seem to concede like one goal a game, but defensively their data is actually quite good. Anderson is interesting at Fulham. I think he does quite well within the defensive contributions, and he's 4.5, so he could be someone that could be looked at as well.
Yeah, Kadioglu at 4.5 is quite nice. He was quite
Mm.
attacking before he got injured last year.
Yeah, Dorgu, Yoro, I think Spurs defenders as well, 4.5, Van der Ven. I think Romero's at 5, but Dorgu and Van der Ven are at 4.5.
Man United 4.5, hopefully.
Yeah, there's Yoro, there's Dorgu. I think Martinez, De Ligt are both at 5 though, so it shows that again defensive contributions impact. Just scrolling through.
Sure at 4.5 if you can get fit.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's quite a lot of £4 million defenders. They're like obviously not many that get minutes immediately, but it seems like some players that could definitely get in the teams. Like Aiden Heaven at United, for example, he's down at 4. The Kuiper's at 4.5. I know a lot of people are excited about him at Brighton.
Twanzebe's 4 at Burnley. He probably is going to start after they've bought him.
Yeah, Bijou at Leeds. Seems like a lot of the newly promoted guys are down at 4 as well, which will be good because, like we said, it's the first year of seeing those defensive contributions. I think Bednarek was one of the highest performers last year, weren't he, in terms of defenders? So we could definitely look at them. I think Leeds have looked decent as well, although Bijou was suspended for game week 1.
Yeah.
It could be someone later on in down the line.
Joel Perot at 5.5. Going to start up front. It's
I
pretty
know
cheap.
a lot of Leeds fans seem to think they want to get a new striker, so it'd be interesting, that's for sure. I think probably from an attacking point of view, maybe someone like Nonto. See what price he's 5.5, which isn't bad. Same as Dan James, so fairly cheap enablers, I guess.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Who do you think is going to be the next Morgan Rogers? There's always one.
I'll have to have a look. I'll go 5.5 and below for midfielders.
Yeah, so I've just done. Just have a scroll. Interesting.
Caicedo 5.5.
Yeah, it's a good price.
Not seeing much. Wanyeri if he ever gets in the team.
Yeah, I just saw him. I thought that too. Or even if he gets maybe a loan deal, perhaps.
Yeah.
Tyreek George at 5.
Yeah, he's going to go out on loan, I think. So, Adingra is going to start every game at Sunderland, you'd think.
Yeah. Somerville's 5.5, who's obviously injured at the minute but could be decent. Odegaard at Spurs, he played quite a bit towards the end of the season. Um, Carvalho's down at 5 again at Brentford, so they're going to need some more attackers, right?
Yeah. Mainu, could he get in the team?
I don't think so. Actually, it's so annoying because he's so good, but he just doesn't fit the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oscar Bob again. He's down at 5.5. Get some pre-season goals under him, and we'll be excited again.
Yeah, very much so. Right, let's build a draft. So who do you want to put in non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable. Obviously Mo Salah. I think.
Okay,
Well, I
Salah's
personally
in.
can't see. Yeah, got to have him in there. Would you say Haaland as well? Should we try and do a Haaland Salah draft and run out of money straight
Yeah, let's
away?
try and do one.
Because it should be interesting to see what you can't have.
Okay, so Haaland and Salah are in. What formation are we going?
Probably going to be like a
I put
three four
Chris Wood in
three.
as the second striker.
Yeah. How much is he? 7.
7.5.
7.5.
I think Neto, I'll put Neto in because I quite like him. I think he's going to be
Yeah,
popular.
should be good for minutes, hopefully.
7. Gonna need some cheap defenders. I put Van de Ven in because he's got Burnley at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because just look through those 5.5 and below midfielders. There's not much there at the minute, but obviously it usually becomes more clear towards the start of the season if we know people are going to be playing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've put in the Brentford goalkeepers because you can get them for 4.5 and 4.
Yeah, I think that'll be really popular. Definitely. You're not having a Chelsea defender in there?
I got Cucurella in there still.
You got him already?
Might have to take him down to Colwill.
What's the price difference between those two?
I think it's 1 million. I think Colwill's 5. Yeah, Colwill's 5.
Yeah, you could
What's
definitely.
Reece James? Because that could be
5.5.
Oh, that's too expensive.
Gusto's 5. Who do you think will partner Colwill? Will it be Tosin?
It'd be Fofana if he's fit, and apparently Fofana's going to be back in training with the rest of the team on the 4th of August.
Interesting. Fofana's 4.5.
Would he throw him
Tosin's
straight back in game week 1 though after no preseason? I'm not sure.
Chalobah's the most expensive out of the rest, so it should be an interesting.
5.5. Oh, he's 5.
He's 5, so he matches Colwill, but it's more expensive than Tosin and Fofana.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Is there any other Chelsea players that you'd say off the bat? Because you've probably got the best run, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want João Pedro instead of Chris Wood.
It's a big price hike for him, 2 million.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I do quite like Enzo. I just feel like he might be 0.5 too expensive.
Yeah. So with this Haaland and Salah draft, we've got 29 million for 5 players. I'll put a 4 million defender in there just for.
Yeah.
Just put Twanzebe in there. Midfielders. Let's go mid-price midfielders. Let's have a look. Cap it off at 6.5. Sarr at Palace. You could have Szoboszlai, Murphy.
A lot of minutes risk bar and Sarr. Mitoma might be a shout. Fixtures aren't great off the bat though. That's the only thing.
Endai has Leeds game week 1, 6.5.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah, this the Haaland Salah draft is quite tricky.
As soon as you go live, definitely.
Although actually,
Minte,
I've just put in 3 6.5s, and I've got 5.5 million left for a defender.
That's not too bad.
So I could put.
I think you can get a lot of value in defence. I think.
Timber 5.5. Canate.
Yeah, Lewis Skelly's 5.5 as well.
So this is a Haaland Salah team. You got Kelleher, Vlad Martin, Wan-Bissaka, Twanzebe, Van de Ven, Colwill, Canate, Murphy, Endai, Sarr, Neto, Salah, Haaland, João Pedro, and Perot from Leeds.
I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the best, but it's not the worst, is it? It's defo doable, I think. And go on.
I was just gonna say you can take out Perot for a really cheap forward.
Yeah, and then push the funds into midfield if you want to go there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also as well, like players will pop up at those prices. Like it happens every year. So yeah, I don't mind it, to be fair. To get like if you're trying to get those two guys in, could be worth it.
I mean, yeah, and then you could have Cunha.
Even like Beto and Muniz, they're both 5.5. So I'd probably take those guys over Peru.
I'm 5 down if I want Cunha. Damn it.
Let's see.
Take Colwill out for 4.5. Wan-Bissaka at 4.5 is going to be so popular.
Yeah, he must not perform too great on
So
the
attacking
defensive
though in the back
contributions.
five.
Yeah, exactly. Xerxes at 6 million. That's interesting. He should hopefully get more minutes this year with how bad Hoyland's been. Barry as
Do you think you'll
well.
keep Xerxes?
Yeah, yeah. Hoyland will be more likely to go than Xerxes. The new Greek striker for Brighton, he's at 5. So yeah, there's a few options. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad first draft. Let's. So, what are your what players stand out pricing wise? Were you surprised by Mbumo being 8?
Yeah, I thought he'd be a little bit more expensive. Obviously, I know obviously with the move to United, they might have been factoring that in when pricing, but um, yeah, I think he's a decent price. Obviously, you think well, you said about his XG and that how he overperforms it, which is fair enough, but I think 8.5 probably would have been a little bit better. Um, I think Bruno Fernandes is the surprising one. Him coming in at 9 million. See, it's like that's put the premium on him for the penalties. They think obviously he's going to be the penalty taker 100%. I think it could be switched around between him, Cunha, and Mbumo. We
You
saw
really
at the end
think
of
that?
last season. Yeah, I think he'll take the majority, but it would not shock me, say, if Cunha wins a penalty and then he goes on to take it. Because last season we saw it with Ericsson, like when he was on the pitch, he sometimes took them, not just on the last day as well.
Especially if you're
So
winning or something.
yeah, I think it's very situation dependent. Like it just wouldn't shock me at all because he's not that like I guess possessive about them. Like he'd happily give them away if that makes sense. But also the fact that he'll be playing in the middle too with Casemiro, he should be decent for contributions as well. So probably why he's got that little point 0.5 price rise, I guess.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in. What's Haaland's? Haaland's ownership's 10% as it stands. Salah's 1% ownership. That can't be right.
Yeah, there must be a
Refresh that. No, still 1%. Premium wise, then, do you think it's going to be Salah and no one the most popular way?
I think it will be. I think we'll see a lot of people say that they'll go without both, and then come to the realization that they're going to need a reliable captain. So we'll probably lean towards Salah just because of those midfielder points.
Yeah, I
But
just want to
Palmer
captain him game week 1. I just can't really.
is yeah, but then like you end up just perma captaining him. That's what happened last season, wasn't it? He just kept on returning no matter who he was playing. Um, Yeah, Palmer being point 0.5 more than Saka is interesting. I think if Saka stays fit, for me, he's slightly better than Palmer. Um, Especially if Palmer's playing in the middle. We spoke about that like numerous times over the Club World Cup. How I just think FPL wise, he's much better off the right, like we saw in the final. He's more likely to get goal contributions that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, um,
Isak, 10.5.
when you look at the rest of the pricing, I think he just looks expensive, but I think at points he will be worth it. It might be one of those situations where, say, if someone wants a premium forward, you can flick between him and Haaland depending on the fixtures. It's just yeah, it's obviously he comes in at a price that it's very like there's not even midfielders wise. It's just Palmer really at 10.5. So if you're gonna pick him, you're probably gonna have to stick to him without having to make like wholesale changes. But maybe you just leave it the first 2 weeks and then bring him in game week 3. Obviously, he's got Leeds away game week 3, followed by Wolves at home. They're two pretty decent fixtures for Newcastle.
Yeah, I was in my head before the game. I was thinking Salah captain game week 1, have Saka for game week 2, and then move out Saka to Isak for game week 3.
Yeah, you're obviously going to need a bit in the bank to do that. But I think that's probably if you're trying to chase the captaincy, I think that's probably the best route.
But then there's obviously the whole bench boost thing in there game week 1.
Yeah, exactly. So to be fair, it could be just even by the fixtures, just thinking about it now, it could even be a viable option just to bench boost game week 1, maybe wild card game week 3, and move into the captaincy swing a little bit more that way. Just because yeah, it's going to be difficult to own all these players, which is going to be a good thing. I think hopefully will make teams a lot different. It won't be as templated as it's sort of been in the years gone by, right?
Yeah. I mean, who are you captaining game week 2 if you just have Salah?
Good question. I think, like you say, I think Saka would be the one, like, ideally. Um,
I mean, Salah away at Newcastle got a goal and assist last year.
yeah, he has a decent record there. It's just like first home game of the season for Newcastle. It's like it wouldn't shock me if they get a result there. Um, I think, to be honest, I think Saka's still a good pick from game week 1. United away, like Arsenal should do well in that game. I think I think we'll probably see maybe a few more cheaper options as captains going forwards, like maybe people going towards captaining £8 million midfielders if they're on penalties, um, things like that. I think that could become more popular just because people aren't going to be able to afford all the players that they're wanting. I think Solanke comes in at a decent price at 7.5. He's obviously got Burnley
He's
at
going to
home
be
game
very
week 1.
popular.
Yeah, 100%. Especially now that Bowen as well is a forward. I think people will almost switch their focus to that fixture instead for Spurs. Um, Especially with Gibbs White. Obviously, I know he's not gone there yet, but he's 7.5 rumored to go there. Kudus is 6.5, so a little bit of a save in there if you think he's going to play. Obviously, not as many goal involvements last year though, so you're hoping that he sort of kicks on and cuts the mustard straight away.
Yeah. So bench boost game week 1, do you think you'll do it?
In my limited thoughts that I've had around it so far, I think I probably leaning more towards doing it just because I'd always try and use a bench boost after a wild card, and that's basically what you're doing in game week 1.
Yeah.
Team news wise as well, you're going to be fairly secure, like compared to other game weeks where you might have to guess and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it'll be viable. I think it'll be extremely popular as well, just to get it done out of the way. It's always such a difficult chip to play in the season anyway. So, I think at the minute I'd be more inclined to play it and then maybe use that wild card to switch captaincy options maybe later down the line. I think that'll be one of the strategies you could go for certainly.
Yeah.
What about you? Are you keen on that bench boost straight away?
Yeah. I just can't really see another way. Like, I just don't think you want to waste your wild card on setting it up.
Yeah, and then also with the wild card, you can chase the price rises as well, right? So it's like there's more than one benefit of just playing that bench boost straight away.
Yeah. I think especially like you look in this week, you've got this week game week 1, Spurs at home to Burnley, and they've got decent cheap players.
Yeah,
West Ham at Sunderland, you can pick a West Ham defender.
yeah,
The only thing is goalkeepers. Like, who are your 2 goalkeepers? Like, where's your nail clean sheet? I think Sanchez is probably one of the best shouts.
yeah. I think it's a good price. Him at 5. It's the only issue with that is that also the centre back's coming at 5, so there's no real save in there if that makes sense. I think Raya again will be popular at 5.5 just because he's cheaper than the nailed guys and he's just as nailed.
It's cheaper than Gabriel.
Um,
Gabriel's 6 and Saliba 6, I think.
yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's same
Timber's
as
five
like
and a half.
yeah, and Lewis Skelly. So you can get into the actual defence at 5.5, but obviously we've seen that the minutes aren't as nailed. You know, David Raya's going to play every week unless Kepa comes out of nowhere. I still think Sells. Obviously, if Forest are going to be as good defensively at 5, he's cheaper than the centre halves. You can get Anya though for 5 as well, which is interesting. 4.5 wise, it is tough. Like I think Kelleher will be extremely popular just because he's obviously a new signing. Outside of that, you're looking at Verbruggen, who defensively last year weren't great. Even Onana at United's 5 million, which is quite surprising to be fair.
Yeah.
Jose Sarr, Areola, even those guys are like sort of minutes risks a little bit.
Yeah. I want to get some Man City in without Haaland.
How much is Marmouche? We haven't even discussed that.
Marmouche is... I'll just search his name. He is...
8.5. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Feels
more
like
than Foden, right?
Foden 8, yeah. Let's take Haaland out of the draft, see what we can do.
Let's do it.
So, who are we putting in instead? Not Isak, someone cheaper.
Yeah, I think so. I think Watkins will be popular if he's still at Villa. That just because the fixtures, decent fixture run for them.
Yeah. Who
Especially
else?
especially if you're not trying to wild card early on, they've got good fixtures till like game week 9.
Welbeck at home to Fulham for that bench boost.
Yeah.
Could be decent. I don't know. When you bench
Uh,
boosting, you want to get it perfect. That's the thing.
yeah, exactly that.
You're
Chasing the
probably
fixtures,
actually.
aren't
Let's
you?
put Solanke in for game week. Let's put Solanke in. So João Pedro, Solanke, and then I've got Obi in there as a bench player. Try and fit Saka in just because we were talking about captaincy.
Yeah. Igor Thiago's at 6 at Brentford, which is interesting if you get into the minutes.
Hmm.
Same with that Igor Jesus at Forest. So interesting. I feel like there will be value down there. It's just we're probably not going to know that value straight away, and it'll be like later down the line.
Yeah. Who's the West Ham? Like who? There's no West Ham attackers apart from Bowen, is there?
It's like Fulkrug. Doesn't really fill you with much hope. He comes in at 6.
Yeah. I got
They need
four and
to
a half
definitely.
million, having put Saka in and Solanke instead of Haaland and Cunha.
Mhm.
What about premium defenders? Who do you think's like in previous years? It's always been just pick Gabriel.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I'm really excited by Frimpong. It's just a minutes question at the minute. Um, Conor Bradley's looked decent in pre-season as well, which doesn't usually help. So I think there could be rotation there, but yeah, like just with his goal involvements we've seen in over at Leverkusen, it's just different to what we've seen from anyone in the Premier League. So he immediately sort of sparks interest. I think he'll be, if he does get the minutes, I think he'll be better than Kirkez personally. It's interesting to see that Andrew Robertson's still at 6. I thought he'd be a little bit cheaper. Nuri obviously.
They've just
If
taken
he,
no risks, have they? Like,
yeah, I feel like that's good though. Like it saves everyone just jumping on a certain asset just because they're zero point 0.5 cheaper and stuff like that. Because even like with the Arsenal defenders, like with Timber, with Lewis Skelly, they're 5.5, but so's Calafiori, so's Kirill, so's Ben White. Like they come with their risk for the zero point 0.5 savings. So realistically, you're probably going to want to pay that premium.
yeah,
Brantwaite and Tarkovsky as well, both 5.5. That's matching Pickford, which is interesting.
yeah. How much is Mikalenko?
He's 5.
Oh,
I
he's
don't know
gone
about
up this year.
O'Brien. O'Brien's 5 as well. So cheapest route into that defence is 5. Seems quite expensive,
Yeah, it does.
but fair at the same time.
So if I wasn't bench boosting, right, you could have this
Mm.
team with a bit of rubbish on the bench. You could have Kelleher in goal, Frimpong, Cucurella, Van de Ven, back 3, Neto, Saka, Salah, Cunha, Murphy, with João Pedro and Solanke up top. And then your bench would be Wan-Bissaka, Obi, and Gay. Still
It's
got point
decent.
0.5 in the bank. It's not bad. I think
Yeah.
2 premium defenders will be popular. I wonder whether people will just go Van Dijk if we don't get any clue about the Liverpool news.
Yeah, it's probably again safe to do so. They probably could have priced him at 6.5, and people probably would have still gone there just for the safety. Um,
I guess it'll
probably,
come it'll come down to early team news. Like if you have Van Dijk all pre-season and then you hear that Frimpong's starting, you're gonna
yeah, you'd
risk that
imagine.
early sub.
Yeah, and you'd imagine that they're Friday night kickoff, aren't they? So you'd imagine there'd be something around it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think value wise in defence, probably Brighton stick out the most just because they've got some exciting players, like new players as well, like Goalkeeper. I feel like defensively they probably underperformed last year as well. Um,
Crikey,
Gahey at
they're all
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, Gahey at 4.5, I think is a great price.
Yeah, it's just the transfer window.
Yeah,
You're gonna
you can
pick
still
him
got
at the start.
Chris Richards is 4.5. Lacroix is 5, which sort of shows his defensive contributions. I think he got quite high on the list of those.
So
Like I said,
say that again, Decoyer. Decoyer.
Goalkeeper, Cuyper.
So he's 4.5. That's interesting.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, Stupiñán's probably going as well.
Sorry. He's worth, and they've got Fulham at home in game week 1, so it could well be a bench boost pick there.
Yeah, I quite like Dorgu as well, 4.5. Obviously, playing wing back. He showed glimpses last season. Just whether it can be a little bit better this season, depending on if United get someone. It's just the fact that the fixtures to start are horrendous. They've got
How much
City
is
and
Ahmad?
Arsenal.
How much is Ahmad?
6.5 mid.
It's not awful. Do you
Nah,
think he's going to play wing back every week?
I'd say he plays wing back almost certainly. It's just dependent. I think on sort of the game scenario. Like I think we'd see Dallo maybe against more like better opposition. So like maybe Arsenal game week 1, City game week 4, for example. Ahmad against the easier teams, more like sort of game state dependent.
Yeah. I'm just going to indulge myself and have a look at some Chelsea prices. See what Esteval is. 6.5. That's a bit expensive.
Do you think? Who do you think will play on the wings? I guess is the better question.
Be Neto and Gittins to start, I think.
You think Gittins comes in straight away?
Yeah, I mean he's the only left winger that we have.
6.5.
Yeah, could be good. I think you got to go Neto for starters.
Yeah. I feel like Neto's quite expensive. Like 7 just seems expensive for him. I know he's had a good Club World Cup, but
yeah, 6.5 would have probably been fairer.
Yeah, like when it's like a 0.5 save into Enzo, I feel like Enzo could probably match him and get defensive contributions instead.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. Eze, I think Eze's good value again at 7.5.
They've put João Pedro at 7.5, Delap and Jackson at 6.5. That feels slightly Club World Cup final based.
Yeah,
Like,
just the initial thoughts of it.
I still don't think it's going to be a cut and dry. João Pedro starts every week.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see like he'll get capped at like 60 minutes. That was what was happening anyway, wasn't it? In that Club World Cup, he usually came off quite early.
Yeah, he might not be the best pick in game week 1, but I don't know. Palace at home is one of the best fixtures in game week 1.
Yeah. Gakpo at 7.5 is cool as a midfielder now. Just what happens to Luis Diaz, whether he stays or goes. He's at 8.
I haven't even put Verts in our teams at all.
Yeah, 8.5. It does look cheap when you look at like. I think they've done that though with like the Liverpool players to get people off of Salah and not make him as much of a like gimme pick.
Yeah. What about Verts or Cunha? What are you saying?
I'd probably say Verts just 'cause he plays in the better team. They've got better fixtures as well. Yeah, it feels like there's you can save 6 million, so you can get Verts and a wing back like Frimpong for the price of Mo Salah. That feels quite good.
Verts and a Frimpong for the price of Salah, yeah, it does. So this
Like,
draft I've got, right?
Yeah.
This is still with Obi on the bench, so it's not a bench boost draft. But apart from him, you've got Solanke, João Pedro, Murphy, Verts, Salah, Saka, Neto, Van Dijk, De Kuiper, Cucurella, Van de Ven, Wan-Bissaka, with Kelleher in goal.
It's not bad.
It's just how do you make that a bench boost with Obi?
Yeah. You'd have to downgrade one of Saka or Verts, I guess. That's the main one.
Or could you take out Murphy? Is there anything knocking about 5.5?
Nothing that's screamed out, I don't think. You could find like maybe the defensive contribution type players.
Yeah.
If someone sticks their neck out in pre-season, like there seems like there could be value, like with Jacob Ramsey, Marlon, one of those guys, because obviously Villa are losing a lot of those attackers that they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
Gruder's at 5.5. He'll be interested in the community. Charlie
That's a great
Alcaraz as well
shout.
at 5.5.
That's a great shout. The Gruder one.
Yeah.
What about 6.5 forwards? Because I'm feeling like I'm going cold on João Pedro already.
Strand Larson, I think he'll be probably the most popular. Obviously, maybe not game week 1, but 6.5 seems like a good price for him.
Is he 6.5?
Yeah.
Oh, if they had a plum game week 1 fixture, he'd be perfect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He also performed way better when Cunha wasn't in the team, so it seems like it's just like a perfect fit.
I mean, Everton striker, whoever that is, whether it's Beto or Barry against Leeds,
Good value. Yeah.
5.5.
Harvey Elliott's 5.5 as well if he gets a move.
I'm gonna stick well back in for João Pedro. I'm trying to work this with Verts in for the bench boost. I don't think that'll be possible actually because I have to change the keeper as well. I mean, if you're going 2 bench boost keepers, it's pretty hard.
That's the problem is it's your budget. Although bench boost gaming 1 helps you out in the long term, the budget's the lowest it will be.
Maybe
Unless
it's
you have
not.
a
Maybe
stink.
it's not the
Unless you
play.
have a
Maybe
stinker.
it's not the play. Maybe use those AFCON transfers to set up a bench boost.
Yeah, you definitely could.
But then, how would you get out of it? I suppose.
I guess say well, you're gonna get a wild card 3 weeks after.
Yeah, but you're not using that in January, are you?
You never know.
This is tough. The whole game week 1 bench boost thing is tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though because it's gonna like it changes people's season trajectory like totally. Like it's gonna properly like almost play your own game in that sort of way.
Yeah, because if you've got like a wild card to use, then AFCON to use, like it's almost like 2 kind of small periods.
Yeah,
Like I think planning when you're going to wildcard it could be good, and then you can just look at that period of time, and then know that after the wildcard you've just got a small window until your next 5 transfers.
yeah, definitely.
Because if you wildcarded in like game week 8, you then have like 13 transfers in the next 8 weeks.
Just seems like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Andre Santos at 4.5.
I mean, when
sure,
Lavia gets injured, he'll get plenty of minutes.
I'm sure you'll find a way to squeeze him in. But yeah, I think yeah, just initially when you looked at like the cheaper players, like 5.5 below, it was a bit worrying. But when you go through it and then think of potential outcomes and circumstances, I think there's definitely some value to be had down there. Probably more so at teams that are a little bit, I guess, less ideal. Like maybe Wolves. I know Fer Lopez, I think, is quite cheap for them at the minute.
Yeah.
Who's a new signing? You know, if he hits the ground running at 5.5. Could be an interesting one. I think they could go on a decent fixture run, sort of that period where you said about wildcarding as well, like game week 5 onwards. I think you said game week 7, but they have like the newly promoted 3 between game week 5 and game week 9. So probably a time to hop on Wolves around then.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your favourite sort of mid price, say sub 9 but above 7.5 midfielder?
Okay, I'll just change it to 8.5 on the screen. So you got Bumo, Diaz. Diaz is leaving. Cunha, Semenya, and Rogers. Rogers at 7 will still be good.
Yeah, I think that's decent value still.
Good fit. Villa have really good fixtures actually. I didn't quite realise that. Concert will be very popular. 4.5.
Definitely. Madueke's got his Arsenal tax at 7.
Who's my favourite mid at that price? I'm not as high as on Mbumo as most people. I could be Gakpo, you know.
Yeah, it's just whether Diaz stays. I feel like he will stay. He's gone on tour with them anyway.
Yeah, he has. Gordon at 7.5, never a bad pick.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who they play in that front line now, because obviously Barnes ended the season really well. They bought Elanga as well, so there's no. I think that's another reason why Isak could have been priced a little bit higher. Is that he's the certain starter. The other guys, you can't be certain that they're going to start now.
Yeah. Kudos 6.5.
I think that's one that really sticks out in terms of Spurs players. Like, if you wanted to put on Spurs straight away, but didn't want to, spend 7.5 on Solanke, he really does stick out.
Yeah. Garnacho when he comes to Chelsea, 6.5.
He can be in those six. They've already priced him ready to be in that midfield category for Chelsea.
Yeah. Who else is down here? Nkunku if he gets a move at 6.
Nice little troll.
Linked to Newcastle today. Marmouche is so expensive.
That's what I feel like, because he has some set pieces like corners and stuff, free kicks maybe. Maybe that's why he's like 0.5 more.
Yeah.
Still feel like Son's quite expensive at 8.5. I know he's obviously historically been amazing, but the drop off last year was crazy. He almost halved his FPL points in 1 year.
How much is he now?
8.5.
He's still 8.5.
Erdegaard as well, 8 million.
Son should be 7. He's not going to start any matches really.
Yeah, I feel like, he could definitely took a little bit of a tumble.
Right, we'll wrap up shortly because we've got things to do. It's obviously not a quiet day. But yeah, I'll read out the team, and we got 1 million in the bank to improve it. So, Kelleher, Vladmarsson, Van Dijk, De Kuipia, Cucurella, Van de Ven, Wan-Bissaka, Neto, Saka, Salah, Wirtz, Murphy, Welbeck, Solanke, and then Obi at 4.5.
I think it's decent. It's like you say, I think strategy is going to be the most sort of pivotal thing when you're talking about what's going to happen in game week 1. Like, obviously that team you can't bench boost with, so you're going to have to make a sacrifice somewhere if you are going to want to go that strategy. But overall, I think it opens up the playing field, which I think is what they've tried to do this year, not make everyone's team so similar, which it looks like it's doing well. So
yeah, I mean, without a bench boost, this team would be good. It's just definitely. If you want to, like, you could take Murphy up to a 7.5. You could take one of the defenders up to a premium.
Yeah.
It's just that Saka. I think Saka is just like the only reason I want Saka is for game week 2.
Yeah.
But
I think that's really the thing. Like, the fixtures don't fall in line with like having set captaincy options. So you're either going to have to use your transfers to flip them around, or just sort of settle with, not the optimal captain every single week. So it will be interesting. I think as well, lots of people in the comments saying about the newly promoted guys at like 4 million, they could definitely offer you at least, minutes points at the very least. And say if, Leeds get off to a good start, they have a decent fixture run to start, then why not,
Yeah. It's just, it would be a lot easier if you were just okay with captaining Salah in game week 2.
Yeah. It's a shame, like, if he had someone like, I don't know, like almost like Bournemouth again, like that kind of caliber of opponent, where not quite as good as Newcastle, but still happy captaining him. Even if it was Newcastle at home, I think I'd still be happy.
Yeah, maybe we'll just have to suck up Salah game week 2, and then, because if you took Saka down to like Cunha, you've suddenly got 2 million, and you can set up your bench boost by upgrading your forward and your goalkeeper, and it's way easier.
Marmouche game week 2, Tottenham at home. Just trying to think of like the alternatives, maybe.
I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I was saying this. I can't remember who I was speaking to. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and like, I think the chances of certain defenders getting double-digit hauls is going to increase now, obviously, with that defensive contributions. Like, because if they're getting defensive contributions, they're going to be likely to get bonus points too. So realistically, that could be an extra +5. It's like getting another clean sheet almost on top.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That leads at home when you're captaining Gabriel just for
I'm not. I can tell you now, I'm not going to do that.
Dan James to wipe out your clean sheet, you'll be absolutely raging.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brighton will be the enablers. Having looked at a quick reaction, I think hot take. I think Brighton will be the enablers for the bench boosters.
Yeah,
Fulham at
looks like
home, Welbeck, De Goalkeeper,
there's good
Goalkeeper.
value all around.
Yeah,
Same with Everton as well, barring their defence. I'd say, if you fancy, Moyes got them playing much better going forwards. I think Alcaraz, Beto, even what's the new striker? Is it Barry?
yeah, Gareth.
Gareth Barry, Thierry Barry, or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
But yeah, those guys, I think the definite value of Everton players as well. New stadium as well. You got to factor that in.
Chris saying in the chat that defensive midfielders haven't come into thinking yet. I mean, I'm not really that enamored by defensively midfield players.
I think the ones for me would be like ones who have other like Caicedo, he doesn't really have much else to him. He's
and he gets
strictly
books
just like
every week.
yeah. Whereas like someone like maybe Declan Rice, at least he takes set pieces as well, rather than just you're only picking him for the defensive capabilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Caicedo. It's like he got 98 points last year. He would have got 40 defensive points, right?
Yeah, 44.
He's on about
like
140 points for 5.5. It's not bad, but it's also like it's just not that inspiring, is it?
Exactly that.
And if you're bench boosting as well, you pick him. So best case scenario against Palace, we keep a clean sheet. He gets this defense, and then he gets 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could so easily be 4 from a yellow card. Could so easily lose the clean sheet, and then it's 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why didn't I just pick a 4.5 million player? I mean, maybe there'll be a promoted team CDM that is cheaper. Do you know any of those off the top of your head?
But not off the top of my head, to be honest.
Does Ampadu play DM? He's 5 million. He's 5 million.
I think he also plays like in defence as well. So you could look at it that way because he's still going to get the same amount of points no matter. It's just going to take him more as the next defenders get it for 10 total.
Yeah. But I'm not that enamoured by. I think I'll consider centre backs more.
Yeah, I think because those midfield spots as well, they're so just rewardable in terms of when they score goals, they get the extra point to forwards. I think that's what also you got to bear in mind. The main one that I would think of, I'm not sure how well he did on the defensive contributions. I have to check, but just Declan Rice, like. He had, I think it was 11 goal contributions last season. The season before, he had like 15 or so. So
6.5 though.
Yeah, but I feel like he's similar to Enzo Fernandez, where he's like box to box more so than that, just defensive.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the numbers for Rice. I haven't seen him on any of the graphics or anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I also think like with those guys or with the better teams, they're going to have possession more, so the chance of them to get the contributions is going to be lower. Just natural, like you'd think that naturally.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, we've been going 45 minutes, 50 minutes. We'll wrap things up there, having had a bit of a tinker around. Conclusion I've come to is that the bench boost is slightly hard. With
not got enough money,
because of captaincy. Yeah, not enough money. Just because of captaincy in game week 2, maybe you just have to accept you're going to have to captain Salah. Which I guess is, to be fair, that's not the worst thing to accept, is it? But
back to last year.
Yeah, it's just not having Arsenal for Leeds at home. It feels a bit silly, but
yeah, but they have players priced at 7 million if you can get in there. Obviously, if Gyökeres does sign, that would be very interesting how much they put him in at, right? Like if he comes in at 8.5, 9, like some people want him to, I think that would be almost game breaking.
Do you not think Havertz could start game week 1 though? Like this Gyökeres, is he actually it? Like I'm seeing a lot of hype around Gyökeres. You're gonna chuck him in at Old Trafford?
Mate, yeah, but they wouldn't chuck 65 million at him and then not start him game week 1, surely.
I don't know. I think Arteta would have to be pretty set that he's tactically up to speed.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I feel like he could be really good. I think Havertz will play a different role, like a little bit deeper, maybe switching out of Ødegaard. We saw that a lot last season when they took off Ødegaard. Like he weren't a minutes man towards the back end of last year.
But like they've just dropped 50 million on Madueke, and he's not going to start. And
I mean, you never
they've
know.
just promised Wanyeri a new 5-year contract.
Oh, that's Arteta's problem, not ours, mate.
Yeah, I think one of Trossard or Martinelli will probably leave. I'd say.
Yeah, no, I think if Trossard probably more likely, but I think there would definitely be a case of probably Madueke playing on the left. I know it's not his best position, but I think
Yeah.
I'd be very shocked to see Saka get moved out of that right wing position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess you could just wildcard game week 2 if
Yeah,
that could be the way to get the bench boost and then get Saka for captaincy and Isak as well.
yeah. It's just the long term effects on your team. Obviously, you're gonna have to go until at least game week 16 until you get those 5 free transfers.
True, but you do have a free hit to use as well. Remember?
That takes 1 week out.
Yeah, that's crazy. So many stuff, so many chips.
It's lots more to think about for sure.
Yeah, anyway, we'll leave things there. Do subscribe, do check out the Fantasy Football Scout members area via the link in the description. It's the cheapest it will be. The price will rise some stage this week very soon. All the defensive contribution data. We were just saying how we didn't know how well Declan Rice did. Well, we could have looked in the members area, which we will do after this stream. So yeah, do check that out and subscribe. We'll have plenty of team reveal videos starting tonight, coming very, very soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.